It Takes Two is fantastic. I love that game. It's such a fun, like, two-player platformer with like a really cute story, but like it's so much more than just a platformer. It's like a dungeon crawler and like also a shooter, and like it's so many things, and it's really, really fun.
I was just thinking of Arcane Studios that made Deathloop. What else? They made Dishonored? Is that studio?
Correct. Yeah, they made Dishonored. Deathloop, to give you some context there, it's very similar to Dishonored in that it's first person, you run around, you shoot, you have abilities, but this one is different in that it's not really super story heavy. Basically, you go through a time loop, so you go through these various regions. Every time you go in, you learn something new, and that information helps you to do something different, and you're trying to essentially get the perfect loop where you kill everyone and end the loop. I played it to the end. I thought it was pretty okay, but the problem is that the story that is there, like as you unravel what's going on, is just sort of like, oh, okay, cool, that's dumb. Like,
oh, right, okay, now I remember, because I think during the last Minus Cast we did, I think I asked you guys like what you guys have been playing recently. And I think Drew mentioned that he was playing Deathloop.
Oh, he was.
Like,
I forgot about
the same
that.
Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said the exact
said the same thing.
Yeah, he's like, I kind of wish we had stopped playing like 90% in.
Yeah,
right. The ending is really disappointing, unfortunately. Also, it has a multiplayer aspect, which I think is cool, but the problem is when I was playing it, if you're at all familiar with Dark Souls, it's the idea of the one person is just playing the game, and if it's online, another person can just like invade and try to take you down.
Interesting.
And it sounds really cool, but it took forever.
Until it's not.
It took forever to get into the game, and the way they have you spawn it's just like, it doesn't feel... It wasn't a good experience on either end, so I just didn't quite like it. But
sure,
it's not a bad game, but it's not amazing. I don't think it's game of the year.
Sure.
I was just gonna say, I feel like the winner is gonna be, it's gonna be Resident Evil Village or probably Metroid Dread. Probably.
I think it might be Metroid Dread. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like. See, the thing is, I don't think Nintendo's ever won anything Game of the Year wise with the Game Awards before, but I feel like Metroid Dread. Like, this is going to be just one of those categories no one's going to expect it's actually going to win. And it's going to be even, it'd be really cool if it actually does, because it's like, Nintendo doesn't usually make Metroid games, so it'd be really neat to kind of see
the
that.
comeback.
See like a massive recognition. Yeah, huge comeback.
Yeah.
I've heard from people that aren't even, like, nostalgic for Metroid say that, like, it's a 10 out of 10 game, so that's really interesting.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I probably am one of those people that I never really played 2D Metroid games in the past. I played the Prime series, but I finished Metroid Dread and I thought it was fantastic. Like, I'd probably put it in my top 15 or 20 Nintendo games of all time.
Damn.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I also played it, and I straight up have the same thoughts. Like, I played Prime, love those. Despite being named D-pad gamer, I hate 2D games, so I prefer analog stick. But the thing is, I didn't know what I was getting into, but I played it, and it was so good that it compelled me to make my first like game review video in a long time. And also, despite that video absolutely bombing, rest in pepper cheesies, I decided, hey, I'm gonna make another video. So I'm like working on a Metroid Dread glitch video because it has so much cool speed tech. So like on every level, from a casual to like a really intense like speedrun aspect, like I just think the game's really cool. I don't know if it's gonna win the vote, but I think between It Takes Two and Metroid Dread, it's one of those two. I think I like Resident Evil Village. I thought it was pretty good, but I don't know if it necessarily had enough appeal to get all the votes.
Yeah, I feel like maybe just because it really tried to kind of like cater towards the Resident Evil 4 audience a lot more.
Yeah.
So I feel like for that reason, I think it has a chance at winning. But, again, it is a bit more of a niche audience compared to, like, It Takes Two. Let's be honest, all these games are actually super niche. Like, It Takes Two is, like, co-op platform. Metroid Dread, that's Metroid. Psychonauts took 8,000 years to come out. Ratchet and Clank, like, it's just like an obligatory game that comes out on PlayStation for some reason.
PS5.
Deathloop.
5 people played.
Yeah. So it's actually kind of interesting because like there is no like big standout winner this year. I mean, really, it could be anything.
Yeah. Because from what I understand too, like all these nominees are like actually good. There's nothing like inherently bad about them. But like you said, they're like, I think probably of this whole thing, Metroid is probably the most A, recognizable, and B, like
Yeah.
sort of accessible, just because it's like the single, because like It Takes Two, as much as I love that game, it's like you need two people to play it.
Right.
So it's just like Metroid Dread is a single player experience. So it's just like, okay, it's more likely that people have played Metroid Dread than It Takes Two.
Yeah.
That's the
Right.
only
Just on
reason.
that alone.
Yeah, that's the only reason I think It Takes Two might not win, just because it's just not as
Yeah.
accessible. But I guess we'll see.
But having said that, it's very worth the play from everything I
Yeah.
understand. But yeah, I think we're gonna drop the vote on Metroid Dread.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if
we do the vote thing.
Yeah,
are
'cause, I
voting.
mean, we are voting. I don't know if we
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
actually went back and checked how our votes turned out, but like,
We
Probably
never did.
not.
I don't think we did.
it's just a little vote.
Dude,
okay.
we could so when I'm assuming some of us are going to stream this again this year. I'm definitely going to stream it. Hopefully, we can get all of us together like we usually do.
That'd be fun.
We could have
Yeah.
like
yeah.
one of us like, fact check like what we picked.
Yeah, like, hey, we voted for this one.
Yeah, like as we're going like, oh, got that wrong. Hey, we got that right.
All right, so that's game of the year.